The 2022 NFL season could have been better. There was a division champ that was 8-9. But we got many memes, like the butt punt and Mr. Relevance Mega Steelix. Let's rank all of the teams before the postseason.
At number 32, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who finished 4-12-1. They fired Frank Reich during the season, used 3 QBs, hired a coach with only high school experience, and still have Jim Irsay as their owner. At number 31, we have the Denver Broncos, who finished 5-12. They lost their trade for Russell Wilson, who they are stuck with for the next 6 seasons and got roasted by Patrick Starr. Nathaniel Hackett also sucked so much that he is in a category with Urban Meyer. Broncos country, let's crash. At number 30, we have the Houston Texans, who finished 3-13-1. They failed at the tank, giving the Bears the number 1 pick in the draft, due to the execution of Order 85.
At number 29, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who finished 4-13. Optimism was high after the Cards were in the playoffs last year, but the season was painful, many injuries. But there is hope. Cliff was fired, so next up is the GOAT, Sean Payton. All the Cards have to give the Saints are a first-round pick and maybe D-Hop. Then Kyler can get developed into the QB we know he can be. At number 28, we have the LA Rams, who finished 5-12. Coming off a Super Bowl victory came at the cost of a season-long Super Bowl hangover, in which almost everyone got hurt. Now it seems that the Lions won the QB trade. At number 27, we have the Chicago Bears, who finished 3-14. They found their QB after almost 40 years. They got the number 1 pick and now can surround fields by trading down with the Colts. At number 26, we have the Cleveland Browns, who finished 7-10. Get them and their QB out of my sight. They betrayed me. They are nothing to me. But that QB is now mid and they are locked into him for a long time. At number 25, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who finished 7-10. They found their successor to Matt Ryan in Desmond Ridder. They stayed alive longer in a piss-poor division than anyone expected. At number 24, we have the LV Raiders, who finished 7-10. They are done with Derek Carr. They might acquire Tom not the GOAT Brady in the offseason. Josh McDaniels should not be a head coach. At number 23, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who finished 8-9, and are winners of the NFC South. They are somehow in the playoffs despite only playing around 35% of the season and grabbing wins from their pirate booty. They will likely lose to the Cowboys. Brady should retire. He is also the cause of his divorce. At number 22, we have the New Orleans Saints, who finished 7-10. This was their first year without Sean Payton since 2005 and their first time with double-digit losses since a 3-13 finish in 2005. They are ahead of the Bucs because of their 3-game stretch to get them back into the fight for the division, in which they defeated the Eagles. At number 21, we have the Carolina Panthers, who finished 7-10. They massively outperformed expectations this season. They fired Matt Rule, cut Baker, traded Robbie Anderson, and were still neck and neck with the Bucs for the division, with Sam Darnold under center. All of that makes them the best team in F tier. At number 20, we have the Tennessee Titans, who finished 7-10. They had a massive collapse after beating the Packers. They were 7-3 with a possible clinching scenario and still couldn't make the playoffs. They eventually put Josh Dobbs in, and it went about as expected. At number 19, we have the Washington Commanders, who finished 8-1. They did better than expected. Putting Heineke under center was the right call, and they messed it up by putting Wentz back there. Though in Week 18, they put in Sam Howell, and he did the best out of all 3. They are still by far the most dysfunctional organization in all of sports, still being under investigation and having the worst field. At number 18, we have the New York Jets, who finished 7-10. They did far better than expected. They were first in the division at one point. Mike White was their best QB, and Sauce Gardner should win Defensive Rookie of the Year. At number 17, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who finished 9-8. Mike Tomlin still has yet to have a losing season. Matt Canada should be gone, and they can do good things when TJ Watt is healthy. At number 16, we have the Green Bay Packers, who finished 8-9. Rodgers should retire. Quay Walker should be suspended, and yeah, they were very mid this year. At number 15, we have the New England Patriots, who finished 8-9. They existed this year. Not much to say other than Mac Jones was a bust and Bailey Zappi should be the QB. At number 14, we have the Miami Dolphins, who finished 9-8, and are the 7 seed and will play the Bills. The butt punt humor was short-lived because their entire team of doctors should be fired because they put Tua back in after he had sustained a serious concussion and now they have to rely on Skylar Thompson. The only way they beat the Bills is if Skylar is an elemental master. At number 13, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who finished 9-8, and are the 7 seed and will play the 49ers. They won their trade with the Broncos, and Geno Smith should win Comeback Player of the Year. They also should not be in the playoffs after the many missed calls in their game against the Rams. Brock Purdy will do what he does best against them. At number 12, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who finished 10-7, and are the 6th seed and will play the Bengals. Lamar wanted an extension at the beginning of the season and now he might not get it because he is injury prone. Either Tyler Huntley, Anthony Brown, or Brett Hundley will start against Joe Cool and the Bengals. This will not go well for the Ravens. At number 11, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who finished 12-5, and are the 5 seed and will play the Buccaneers. They lost to Sam Howell. They are also terrible in the playoffs but face the worst team in the field in what will be by far the most boring game of the playoffs. The only way it will be watchable is through the Manning cast. The Cowboys will win a very ugly game. At number 10, we have the New York Giants, who finished 9-7-1, and are the 6th seed and will play the Vikings. They are the only NFC East team who did not lose to the Commanders. They almost beat the Eagles with Davis Webb. Brian Daboll should win Coach of the Year. They will likely lose a close game to the Vikings. It will be a blowout though if they take a picture shirtless and on a boat. At number 9, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who finished 13-4, and are the 3 seed and will play the Giants. They have a negative 3-point differential despite having 13 wins, entering what will be known as the Fraud Bowl. They will win another close game against the G-Men. At number 8, we have the LA Chargers, who finished 10-7, and are the 5 seed and will play the Jaguars. Justin Herbert finally made the playoffs, but they will be without Mike Williams against the Jags, as Staley made the dumb decision to use his starters through most of the game in Week 18. Their game against the Jags is a toss-up. At number 7, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who finished 9-8, and are the 4 seed and will play the Chargers. They started 2-6 and finished 7-2 and on a 5-game winning streak. Trevor Lawrence was by far the best QB of his draft. A year ago they were clowns, now they are kings. At number 6, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who finished 14-3, and are the 1 seed. They were the last unbeaten, which historically does not bode well for teams in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts was injured for 2 games, in which they lost to the Cowboys and Saints. While playing and injured, they barely beat Davis Webb and the Giants and the Bears. They got the bye week, but they might only do little if they have to play the 49ers in the championship. At number 5, we have the Detroit Lions, who finished 9-8, and missed the playoffs because of ref ball. They started 1-7 and finished 8-2, sweeping the Packers for the first time since 2018, and went 5-1 in the division for the first time since 2017. I could easily see them winning the NFC North next year. They are above the Eagles because when the Lions were bad they only lost by 3 to the Eagles, and the Lions' record in their final 10 games was better than the Eagles. Now for the Super Bowl favorites. At number 4, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, who finished 14-3, and are the 1 seed. They have Patrick Mahomes, but they lost to both the Bills and Bengals, and the Colts somehow. They clinched the AFC West later than normal but still convincingly. If they play the Bills in the AFC Champ it will be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. At number 3, we have the Buffalo Bills, who finished 13-3, and are the 2 seed and will play the Dolphins. They had the most challenging season, from the Damar Hamlin injury to the snowstorm, but they persevered through it all. They are a very tough out in the playoffs. At number 2, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who finished 12-4, and are the 3 seed and will play the Ravens. They had a slow start at 4-4, then rattled off 8 straight victories for the second longest active winning streak. I have them above the Bills because the Bengals have a better strength of victory, which is the combined winning percentage of your opponents. They are no longer the underdogs, they want it all, even if they have to face the team they have lost to twice in the Super Bowl. At number 1, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who finished 13-4, and are the 2 seed and will play the Seahawks. They had a slow start at 3-4, then rattled off 10 straight victories for the longest active winning streak. They are doing this with third-string Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy under center. They are far and away the best team in a very poor NFC and are my pick to go to the Super Bowl. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment on how I should do better, and subscribe. I am also doing a Sonic Frontiers playthrough. The next non-Sonic Frontiers video will be a Shrek Timeline video.